Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. That didn't work out. So, I'm sorry, you're probably saying, what the heck? Okay, deep breath. I ran downstairs, I should say, to go get my book. I have a book that I want to talk about today and all of that. And God grief, it's not there. Which that's highly likely it was somewhere else. Chris, I'm glad you made it. So did I. You have to know, I ran down the stairs, and on the way back, I took 3 at a time all the way up. I did it as fast as I can because I was like, it's got to be here somewhere. I can't find it. Anyway, Chris is here. So is Jocelyn. Hi, it's good to have you all here. We're rounding up today for Thirsty Thursday, and we are ending this whole thing about motivation. So I have a lot to discuss. Today is a really good day. It's a kind of a book review that I have, if you will, on a book that I've read that just made me go boing, that kind of a thing. So all this week, if you have not been here, well, you've missed out because we talked about the power of 3x5 cards. We talked about how these little behaviors that we have can move the needle and help us with motivation, and how massively important it is that we get on the bandwagon for all of this and stop complaining that we don't have motivation and start making it, because we can make motivation. That's pretty cool, isn't it? To be the chef of your own life. Kathy, Tanya, good to have you here. So we have all of that. Also, I just want to make sure that you know about our special of the week, which is tea. We have this body clutter tea, and if you buy one, you're going to get one free, and we're also going to give you a mug. A muggy mug. It could be one of these. These are all mindful mugs that we have. We have just little bits and pieces of everything. And we have the opportunity to just throw one in your box. So that's a pretty screaming deal. So check that out at savingdinner.com/show. That's where we put those things. Hello, Lily from Colorado. So nice to have you here. So we have that. The other thing that you need to know about is free shipping, of course. I've been so grateful every time I see these larger orders of over $300. I am grateful to pay that shipping, because you look to us to take care of your supplement needs. Thank you. That's for free shipping in the lower 48. Then we can actually do that without losing our ever loving minds. So that's very important to know. The rising tide is beginning on, I believe, oh my goodness, I don't even know when it's starting. Jenny, isn't it the 23rd or something like that? But the webinar for the rising tide is September 11th. You can go to savingdinner.com/rising for that, and you can get yourself, get a seat for that. I'm going to explain what the rising tide is about. It is a 3-week intensive on really getting your act together and getting your goals in place for the end of the year. I think it's important to exit well as it is to begin well. Everybody's always interested in beginning well. The middle's so not so much sometimes, but the end, well, you know what? If you're not happy about what's happened all year, or you are happy with what's happened all year and you still want to end really, really well, this is exactly the thing that you need. I hope that you considered joining us, and also go check out savingdinner.com/rising to get your seat for the webinar. Now, you who are a part of our Hot Melt 30, which, by the way, is beginning tomorrow, because tomorrow is September 1st. For 30 days, we're going to be doing the Hot Melt 30. So if you're a part of that, then you know what's up for tonight at 7 p.m. We've sent invitation to anybody and everyone. We have the contract, the Hard Truth contract. That is going to be getting signed today, tonight, for everybody. And this is the Hard Truth. And then here is the commitment contract. And this is a kind of an important thing, and we make a big deal out of it. It's celebratory in nature. It's a manifesto of sorts, and it's our opportunity together to gather as a group of women to say, let's get it done. Let's get it done. So today we're signing that contract. If you have the contract, if you've already purchased your Hot Melt 30 guide, you have the contract in your goodies. If you have problems with that and need help, by all means, send an email to support@savingdinner.com. And here's the other thing. I really want you there tonight because it's going to be powerful. Yeah, you can always watch it on replay, always. However, being there in person and being a part of something like this, you can just feel the high vibes. It's really great. Catherine, hello. Maureen's in the house as well. Isn't that great? All good. So glad to have you all here. So if you don't know what the Hot Melt 30 is and you think, well, I'd like to be a part of that, well, then let's get you there. Go to savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY, and we'll do our thing. Okay? All right. So that's what we have. That's what's up. It keeps you on track reading it daily. Yeah, that's another thing too. Tanya has this, and she reads it every single day. You might say she's had some success. You know, there's been a little life change there. I'm just saying. You know, our tools work if you use them. Take them out of the toolbox and use them. They work. Okay, so I went downstairs, and the reason why the show opened, I said, go ahead, Jenny, start it. I know exactly where it is. Where it wasn't, I should say. I remember then when I got downstairs, I said, oh yeah, man, I remember moving that, and I remember I had it out for something. Well, this is one of these books. The book I'm going to be talking about today is one of those books that you go back and you read again. Or at least you go back and you look at all the books with all the little tags that you've put in it, you know, the little book flags. I do that. Also look at the stuff that's underlined, has notes in the side, and has highlights. My books, the good ones, get all marked up. All marked up. And this book is called The Motivation Manifesto. It's by Brendon Burchard. He's a personal development coach. He's really a sharp guy. I've been to a number of his webinars before, his in-person stuff. And this is a really good book. I read it back in 2015 when it first came out, or 14, something like that, and devoured it first reading. And then I went back and read it again. And then I went back and highlighted even more stuff in it. It's one of those kind of books. So, but if you read the reviews, it's interesting because you know how people are. People can just be terrible. But if you read the reviews, they'll say something like, oh, that's all. Everybody's heard this before, blah, 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 blah. And I started thinking about, you know, because I always read the bad reviews first because I want to see what, you know, people think about that. And he's over 4,000 reviews. So I was looking at this on Amazon this morning and I was saying, you know, it's interesting, but isn't that what personal development is? It is certain tenets and principles that we have to hear over and over again in order for them to stick. And basically what it is somebody taking the same recipe and mixing it up ever so slightly different and handing it to you in a way that maybe is more palatable than another way was. Now, I say all of this because God knows you've heard enough stuff out of my mouth that you've heard on repeat before. And in sometimes, you know, I say it a little bit differently, and other times, you know, it's probably the exact same that you've heard. But there's a reason for it. There's a reason. We learn things by repetition. We build new neural pathways through repetition. Without repetition, we don't get it. Nobody is that smart, that sharp, that astute that you just say something and it's like, whoa, that's it. I've got that. And it's been absorbed and I'm never going to have, I'm never going to have to hear this again. It's simply not true. The fact is, we need to hear this stuff and we need to hear it over and over again before it sticks. And you've all been in this place, and pinkies up if this is you. I know it's me, where I've been in the situation, I've been in this place where I've heard this before on repeat, and suddenly, some way, and for some reason, different person, whatever, the delivery of it finally sticks. The delivery of it lands and makes sense to me. And so when I look at the motivation manifesto, there's not one of these things that I didn't know going in, but the way he says it lands the plane. He really does do a good job on it, I think. And I wanted to show you the inside of my book to show you how this is how I read a book. And sometimes I also listen to the audio. And I do that a lot with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, just simply because I want to get it in as much as I possibly can. So basically the book is, it's called the Motivation Manifesto. And it is, what does it say? It's got 9 declarations to claim your personal power. And if you know anything about manifesto, a manifesto is a written document that declares publicly that the intentions, motives, or views are being put on the line, declared, publicly. Think of the Declaration of Independence, one of the most famous manifestos in the world. We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, that is a manifesto. And if you look at them, most manifestos are revolutionary. They are written in present tense, and they use strong language, because a manifesto has a fist involved sometimes, because it's like, we're not going to take it anymore. We want this. This is who we want to be. We, the people, want to move and be, living in a different land. We want to have this country. We don't want to have that stuff. We don't want to have retreaded, royalistic views of the world. We don't want that. We want freedom of your religion. We want freedom of speech. We want freedom of all these different things. And this is exactly what the Declaration of Independence was about, was to make sure that there was a line drawn in the sand between England and the United States. And that's what that was all about. Talk about revolutionary. There was a war. This was actually drawn up during the war. Well, we all have wars within, all of us. And our war within is usually trying to get our ideas and our actions on board and doing the same thing. We want that. We want the wholeness of that, because that then declares the kind of life that we want to live, and we are actually living that life. It is a life of vibrancy and not just wishing for vibrancy. So when we look at this, we have to take these points and see, how do I apply these for each one? How do I apply each one of these points? Now, for some of you, I'm going to give you all of this, and you're going to have the show notes tomorrow. Of course, it's going to be in the show notes, and that's going to be enough. Some of you are going to say, this good stuff, I want to go read that book. So however it is that, this all lands, cool. But let's go through those 9 things, because I think they're really super helpful. Number 1 is, we shall meet life with full presence and power. And this is simply this notion, this idea of living your life fully present and fully full of your own power, knowing that you are the one who is the ultimate arbiter of your time. You are the one who opens and closes the refrigerator door and makes the selection. You are the one that gets to do all of these things in the present tense. So we have to, we all know just how incredibly distracting this thing is. Am I right? Right? Television, friends, social media, all of it. There's a lot of distraction in our world. And we cannot then have the motivation to have this incredible life or the vibrancy that we're, absolutely 100% seeking if we aren't fully present in it. Because when we check out, there's nobody to say, hey, come on back and check in. We just recognize and realize, after hours of doom scrolling or reading all this other stuff or getting all, whatever it is, situated with the news of the day or whatever else it is that's distracting, we find ourselves in the place of not living fully present and losing our power and feeling very disempowered at the end of the day and feeling very disconnected from it all. And that's precisely what this whole book is about. Jackie and Sue, it's good to have you here. Number 2 is we shall reclaim our agenda. Now, I love this because this is suggesting that we're going to take control of our lives by setting our own priorities, our own goals, and to be proactive rather than reactive. When we make deliberate choices, we're designing our life around decisions that align our lives with what it is that we want. That's basically it right there. It's deliberate. It's made on purpose and for purpose, and it flows. Again, we talk about flow a lot, but that's what it is. That's where we get from just wanting a habit and trying to create one through all the obstacles and through all the awkwardness and difficulty putting it all together, to getting to that habit, to then getting to the place of flow, because flow is just who you are and what you do. Yeah. I kind of like that. I mean, to me, that's the ease of living. We struggle hard at the beginning of trying to set the structure up, of trying to make it all happen and adjusting continually and constantly. Well, then suddenly when things click and things become, now I've got this as a habit, now I've got this as my life, then things are just beautiful at that point. Number 3 is we shall, this one's a tough one maybe for you, but we shall defeat our demons. Now, this is not some religious thing, but it's rather it's about confronting all of those internal fears, those doubts, those negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, all of that. What is holding you back? You know what it is. I mean, well, maybe, and sometimes maybe you don't, but you have an idea of what it is. And those things that hold us back, we can't ignore them. We have to instead confront them head on and cultivate in its place a mindset of courage and resilience, because courage and resilience will work every time. I promise you. And I will also promise you the worst part about confrontation is doing it and confronting it and saying, this is what I'm going to be about. Hi, Corliss. Nobody wants to confront anything. Do you know of somebody who says, oh, goody, today I get to confront this stuff, or I get to confront this situation or this person or whatever? No one likes it. 0 people line up for it and say, let's do a confrontation today. It's no fun. However, it's in the confrontation that you get back your power. And it's in the confrontation where you say, enough. A confrontation in and of itself is a manifesto. Think about it. Of course it is. Because it's saying enough is enough. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm calling out. And when we do this, we defeat these demons. We do. Fear takes a seat. Our amygdalas are no longer just so blop, 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 blop. They're silent because you've taken control. I always like to say that, this is where we control. This is our control panel up here. This is where all the complexity is done. If we're living off our brain stems, the most primitive part of our bodies, which is just basically knee-jerk reactions, then we're not going to get what we want. If we allow our amygdala, the fear center of our brain, to have her way, she's not going to give you permission to have the life you want. She wants to keep you safe. She doesn't want you to do anything new. She wants to hold you back, is the thing. I want to stay with comfort and what I know, blah, blah, blah. And that's not going to defeat those demons. You know how I feel about fear and negative beliefs and all of this stuff, everyone's got them. But it's also, if we're able to confront them, we're able to put them in their place. Massively important to move forward. Number 4 is we advance with abandon. So what this is just saying that we are going to pursue our goals. We're going to go after our dreams with enthusiasm and a sense of abandonment. Because the reason we have that sense of abandon is that we just want to just say, enough already with the constraints. Let's just do this. Let's go after it. Let's give it everything that we've got. How many times have you done that in your life, right? Think about that. How many times have you done that in your life? And if you're saying to me, I don't remember ever doing that, then I double dog dare you to do it now as you get on board with the Hot Melt 30, for example. What if you did that? What do you think life would look like for you? What do you think would be next for you? Would there be a whole new high vibe? Would there be a whole new you? It's worth looking at. Because what this does is it encourages you to embrace the challenge, to take the calculated risk, to grow, to evolve, and to become your best self. That's what this encourages you to do. We can't do this unless we decide to do this. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just like one day you wake up and just say, I don't know, I'm just going to go after this with abandon. No, you have to make a decision about it. Like, this is what I'm going to do because this is what I want, Then you go into yesterday's show and we talked about the why and all this other kind of stuff and really getting into the nitty gritty of your why, and you're on it. And then what do you think the next one is? We shall practice joy and gratitude. And the joy and gratitude become then a part of your everyday life. They take the level of enjoyment up 20 notches. And when we see this as a part of our daily manifesto of sorts, the positive outlook is just part and parcel because you've already expressed it. You've already made a decision about the gratitude and you're speaking it into existence, essentially. Your mindset becomes one of possibility and abundance. Because, if you have gratitude, think about gratitude is just, it's ever flowing. It's ever abundant. It's spilling out and over and everywhere. That's what it is. And we don't serve a stingy God. We serve a God who loves wholeheartedly and loves us with wild abandon. Why don't we do that with our lives, right? Let's do it with our lives. Jenny, hello. It's good to see you. Number 5 is we shall practice. Well, I already said that. Practice joy and gratitude. Number 6 is we will not break integrity. Well, we've talked about this and keeping promises to yourself. When we break integrity, we break our promises to ourselves, don't we? And unfortunately, breaking our promises to everybody else would just be unthinkable, but we do it with almost wild abandon to ourselves. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then we don't. That's a promise essentially because we said we're going to, and then we don't. I've shared with you too, all the Irish goodbyes that I have seen over the years in the Hot Melt Sprint group. It's a break in integrity. It really is. And we need to look at this because this is a crucial, valuable point. When we start taking our own words seriously, then our own words carry weight. They carry they're almost solemn. Like, oh, this means something. They're sacred because I made this promise. I'm going to do this. It might be hard. It might be difficult. I might not do it perfectly. Well, you won't, welcome to the human, by the way. But when we do this, we align our actions with our values. We stay true to ourselves and what it is that we're pursuing, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of things that we think is insurmountable, right? I think this is a really important thing. We need to really lean into that and muddle that one over and over in our heads because that's a big deal. Number 7 is we shall amplify love. We have to cultivate love just like we cultivate our gardens. We have to. We have to be those women who that's what we are partial, that's part of our purpose. We're all about this love. We're all about planting those seeds of love. We're all about compassion to ourselves and to others. We emphasize in our lives the power of empathy and practice it. We practice kindness, and we connect with others so that they can also have a fulfilling life. You see the circle here? Have you noticed that this is something that we do in our Hot Melt Sprint group? Number 8 is we shall inspire greatness. And I want to just say this, there's a lot of people, and I've heard this before, doing coaching with coaching clients. Well, I'm not looking for greatness. And I'm thinking, well, why not? Our greatness isn't so that we can say, I'm mighty and I'm great and here I am and we're going to do, no. Your greatness is in your parenting. Your greatness is in your thoroughness. Your greatness is in that your word is your bond. Your greatness is in the kind of partner you are in a relationship. Your greatness is in the gratitude that you have for all the things in your life. That's great. And that's the kind of greatness that we need. And as we do, we inspire. We inspire. This is a huge thing because, it might be a tall task, but it is an absolutely mandatory task. We need to. This world needs more women like this. And this is what leadership is. And if you're a parent, you are a leader. If you are leading somebody and, at work, you have a leadership role, then you need to inspire greatness in the people that are working with you. Then if you are in a place where, a leadership role on your pickleball board, or your HOA or something, there's always opportunity to practice leadership. And we can do it in a way that inspires greatness. And so I think that when we look at greatness, I think oftentimes we think of it in this broad, huge view of it, when what we need to be looking at instead is each task that we, finish, we can do it in a way that's great. Our example to our children, that can be great. That's just something, and that's a lot of food for thought there, but I think it's really important. And number 9 is a really good one, is we shall slow time. And you know what that is? This is just, talking about intentionality and being present and focused on what truly matters. Being there, being that presence. You think about it. I heard this, I don't know where it was. I think it was on TikTok or whatever, but it was like your children, when your children walk in the door or your spouse walks in the door, everyone should be greeted as if they are the golden retriever, or the Labrador or the dog, Have you noticed when you come home and you've been gone for 2 hours, your dog just goes berserk? What if we did that for others? What if we were just like, oh my gosh, you're home. I'm so glad to see you. Oh, I left this morning. I went to work. I'm home now. I mean, what's for dinner? Kind of a thing. But, what this does is it helps us to really appreciate and love more. It cultivates more into a relationship, and it gives us a sense of connection with this person, with these people that you were divinely been given. And the other thing is, it helps us to savor these experiences that we all experience every single day when somebody goes out and comes back in. You think about it, really. And this motivation manifesto, it's a guide to help us cultivate a motivated and purposeful life, And each little thing like this, which you've all heard before, this is not brand new stuff, but each one of these little things is a cog in that wheel that helps us to get and maintain and create exactly the vibrant life that we want to live. So I'm just saying to you, check out that book if you're interested. And I wish I had it. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad you didn't sit here for 5 minutes looking at my construction behind me saying, what the heck, what's going on? Thank you for joining me all this week. We've been talking about the power of motivation and how it shows up, how we cultivate it, and at the end of the day, what it is that we need with it. Next week, we'll be on to something new, but don't forget, tomorrow we start the Hot Melt 30. We start. And everything that I talked about at the very beginning, of course, is available at savingdinner.com/announcements. And one more thing, I just want to remind all of you who've signed up for the Hot Melt 30 this time or any other time in the past and are interested in being a part of the commitment contract signing tonight. There it is. It's happening. It's on 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. If you did not get your invitation, remember to send an email in to support@savingdinner.com. We will send it to you. If you need another copy of the contract or whatever, I'm sure you've already have it if you purchased the guide, but if you need help, we're going to help you out. Okay. Anyway, I appreciate you all. I will see you again on Monday if you're not going to be here tonight. Peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.